Cesar, tell everybody a little bit about the charity you involved with. Man, I remember as kids, man, the bicycle was a big thing. You know, you'd race bicycles and that sort of thing on the streets. Now they got all kind of new toys with the cell phone, so sometimes you don't see that nearly as much. But tell everybody how you got involved with this bicycle giveaway and how you got involved with this charity.
Yeah, so it was I was sitting at home and I was trying to think of a way to be creative. You know, I didn't want to – I knew growing up I had 1,000 backpacks, or we got a bunch of free backpacks as a kid. So would that really – how would that really affect me or impact me, you know, as a kid? I was trying to think of the most creative way I could, you know, just make something special for kids, you know, do something special for the young kids where I grew up. So I had this idea. I was like, hey, like a bike. You know, I remember growing up, there was times where my bike broke, or not everybody had a bike. And, you know, having a bike is the quickest way to get outside. And I feel like, you know, get kids outside more, get them off those iPads, you know, it'd be great. So that was just my main thing. I just wanted to be really creative and figure out a unique way to give back. That's what I ended up ultimately doing. And, man, it turned out great.
To see the kids' reaction when they get that new bike, that's got to mean everything to you.
Oh yeah, that was the most important part, man. It was just even the special part was not only just being able to give them the bikes in that moment. It was when I left my event and I was giving my girlfriend a tour of, you know, the city of where I grew up at, because she's never been there, and just driving through the streets and seeing a bunch of the kids on their bikes with my T-shirts on. That was, I will say, an emotional moment for me, and it meant a lot just to see that, you know, just seeing the kids using the bikes that they just got already and wearing the T-shirts and just outside enjoying fun. So that was super special to me.
Well, it was a great idea, because I do think that is part of today. We need to get younger kids outside more from staying inside and, as you said, either cell phone or iPad, watching television, watching videos or whatever. So I think that's a great idea, Cesar. How is it this year? And at that right guard spot, you know who's to your left, okay? You know, and now you've got a new team up on that right tackle position with Trevor Penning. But, boy, you got a stud right next to you, to an Eric McCoy. You played that center position. You know how difficult it is to play at any level. I've always felt, other than quarterback, the center position was the hardest one to play. You've played that a lot, certainly in high school and into the college ranks and a little bit in the pros. But to play next to McCoy, but now you've got somebody else new next to you at that right tackle position with Taliase Fuaga.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Me and Eric, we have like a telepathic connection. We don't even have to talk to each other on the field sometimes. We played next to each other so much, and me playing next to Tali is I'm super excited, and he's excited as well, man. It's we kind of like we joked about it before sometimes, like, man, I wonder what it'd be like to play next to each other sometimes. You know, we would joke around like that, and it's happening now, and it's just great, man. He's super talented young guy. He's dedicated, he's humble, and I'm just super excited to you know, play next to him, as I am with Eric and the other guys on the O-line too. So I'm really excited for all the guys. You
went to Michigan. Jordan Poole was there, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Jordan Poole when he was in college.
Oh, that was my guy. You know how the school somebody here. It's like, oh yeah, we went to the same school. No, that was my guy. We were good friends in college. So when we stayed in touch through our professional careers, when he came down to play the Pelicans, he wore my jersey through the tunnel. So we have a good connection, a good friendship, and I'm just super excited to have him down there. Not only because he's such a great player, but he's also a really good friend of mine. So just really excited.
the Saints using a first-round pick on Kelvin Banks, there's always pressure. You were a first-round pick also. There's always a little bit more pressure on you when you're a first-round pick. You just got to go out and do your job. But has there been any advice you've given, if it's been Kelvin, maybe what you spoke to Trevor Penning about maybe in the past? Because there is that adjustment, just like it is from high school to college to the pros. Because, we get some people tell, you can play football at any level if you can play it in high school. No, you can't. It's a different brand of football. People don't get that particular part. Have you given any advice to Kelvin Banks since he's been with the Saints?
Like you said, that's actually funny. Because if you can play high school football, it doesn't mean you can play in the pros. So that's funny. But it's if he ever has a question or anything, I'll offer him every piece of advice I can give him because I was in his shoes. The same advice I offer Tally and Trevor because I've been in those shoes, and I think the biggest thing, to let them know is, hey, man, go out there and play football. Go out there and play football. Just understand what you're doing. Don't overthink. That's the biggest piece of advice I can transfer over to him and, communicate with him. Is like, hey, man, go play ball. You're a ball player. And that's why I tell all the guys, like, hey, man, you go play ball. The second you just tell yourself to go play ball, things get a lot easier and everything else, will come with it. And actually funny we're talking about this, actually haven't been able to I've been meaning to get back to him too, just to help the young guys get a routine because that's something they'll learn from the vets. So I really want them to hone in on different guys' routines and start to develop their own.
Have you changed your workout habits? Because everybody does a little tweak to it on how you handle the off season. If it's film work, if it's workout stuff, you've got a new offensive line coach, so there's some newness there with Kellen Moore and new staff. Have you changed your workout routine since coming into the league?
Yeah. So it's so when I first got drafted, my first offseason, I just wanted to stay in shape. I was just lifting weights, staying in shape. I trained hard, always worked super hard, so I was always in shape. But now that I'm older, I've learned the things I need to do. So even my diet has changed completely. I have that's probably the biggest thing I've locked in on that I've progressed on since my rookie year to now. My diet is super specific and my diet is very, tailored down to a T. And I work out about 2 times a day now, and I'm doing the things I need for my body, maintenance, those extra things. And I picked those things up from the guys I learned from, the guys that were doing it before me, the older guys. So I just took what they did and implemented it into my routine and kind of tweaked things a little bit. And now I kind of have my own flow going and things that are working for me.
Cesar, you talked about Detillier, Fuaga, Kelvin Banks, the last 2 first-round picks for the Saints roster, and now you have all this talent up front for this offensive line. And, talking about building an offense from the ground up, being able to build up the trenches, that's what a lot of folks said with this Kelvin Banks selection a year after taking Detillier, Fuaga. Like, how good can this front 5 really be?
Sky's the limit. We're as good as we want to be, as we want to be, and how good we'll be as good as we work. So I'm excited for every single guy. There's so much talent across this entire offensive line. So we'll be as good as we tell ourselves we can be. And I do think the sky's the limit for this front too. And I'm just super, super excited for everybody.
One of the things when you have some young quarterbacks in a group here, somebody becomes the alpha, okay? And now both of them could be alpha dogs, but, one's maybe a little bit more talented than the other. But a lot of times I've heard from veteran centers, man, a young quarterback sometimes, man, he's all nervous and he gets fidgety a little bit. And part of if it's a center or a guard, they try to calm him down a little bit in the huddle. During the game, it's not so much in practice because that's sort of scheduled events, but in seeing Tyler Shuck and how he's come in, he has, to me, looked as though he's treated this almost like a veteran, been there, done that, even though he hasn't. Is that something from an outside standpoint that is true?
Yeah, I can tell you this from being with these guys and the off-season training, OTAs and minicamp, all the guys are about their business, and especially Tyler coming in being, a rookie. Seeing him how he carries himself is impressive. He's about his business, and I love seeing them work. I love seeing all those guys work. I love seeing Spencer, Jake. I love seeing all those guys work, man. They're all about their business, and stay in there. And when it's their time to roll, they're taking the opportunity and running with it.
Cesar, your early impression of Kellen Moore in his first offseason as a head coach at the NFL level. I know that a lot of Saints fans are really, really excited for the new Kellen Moore era to begin, but just kind of your early impressions from him at OTAs and camp ahead of training camp, which is going to start next week.
Been a big fan. Was a fan before we hired him. Just love the type of offense he ran, and just love the scheme. And now that you get to build a connection with him and get to know him, he's a great person too. So that equals a great coach, and I'm just really excited and just so really happy to have him here. And I'm just excited to get things rolling with him.
Cesar, last question for you. A lot of people don't get the communication that happens up front along the offensive line. The center giving communication to the guards to the tackles, and how different that is because, man, you're catching blitzes now from a lot of different angles. The guy might not be in front of you. He might be coming from the safety position or linebacker. It's a little bit of a delay, and he comes in, and how technical that really is to make those calls up front and to communicate with your other five linemen, because five's got to work as one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, though, because those decisions happen in split seconds. They happen so fast. And to be able to recognize, and that's where it comes into play, having a guy like Eric who's experienced so much and seen so much. And, you got guys online that played a ton of snaps. Like me next to Eric, we're able to see things and communicate it with the other guys, and they pick up off of how we communicate things. And it is all just, everybody just comes together as one. But when I tell you those things, it happens fast. Sometimes it happens where you just have to react and you can't say anything, and it's fast football. And, you make decisions quick. And a lot of times it's all about studying too. So a lot of times you see things before it can happen too, and you kind of can expect some things, but sometimes when you don't expect it, it's split-second decisions, and you got to roll with it.
Cesar, thanks so much for joining us, but also want to thank you for what you do for your community and growing up in Camden, and to give back. A lot of times we probably don't, from a media standpoint, give people enough credit for what they do outside of football. Because if something bad happens, what happens. Man, it's all over. Sports Center, it's all over here on WWL. Everybody talks about the bad things, but it's the good things that you don't have to do, but you choose to do it. And I really appreciate that from you.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.